You know, after weeks of doing this with the Ninjala anime, you would think maybe I'd look like less of a Sasquatch, but no, that's not the case. You see, every week I turn more and more into a coffee-loving Sasquatch. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, I'm pretty much jumping right into the discussion video for Emma's Ninjala anime episode because, pardon me for swearing, but holy the bombshells of information that we got for this episode were just absolutely nuts. And I'd like to go over that, as we go through it and we talk about the episode like we've been doing for all the previous Ninjala anime episodes. But I'm going to do what I did with the last episode similarly. I'm going to, talk about main points, and then we're going to go talk about, lore implications and stuff like that. Because there was a lot of stuff in this episode that was proven right. And I do apologize if you hear, like, bass in the background. There's a radio going on right now. And I have to technically... I'm actually re-recording this because I actually had some audio issues with the first time I did the discussion. I was not able to fix the audio issue. So here I am re-recording this. So if you guys are here for the Ninjala anime discussion, you know what to do. Just like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Come on. Let's just kind of get right into it. And we're just going to talk like straight up about Emma's episode. And I just want to say right off the bat that, again, they did just such a good job with Emma's episode and the way they, changed everything up, the way they did everything perfectly with Emma's episode. I just tell such a good story compared to what they initially had with Emma's story. Initially, it starts off like how we thought, Emma's episode would start off, where she goes off to the docks and she ends up, intercepting this deal between these two dudes who are, I guess, exchanging illegal information or not. Kind of like, Emma's original anime episode. No, I'm eating my donut! No! Oh, I don't have subtitles on. Oops. There we go.
見なきゃよかったのにな。運が悪いやつだ。
Oh, they're just starting with it.
お前は
They're just starting with this? Interesting. In Emma's original anime episode, what they do is they establish that she loses the ring, like the headband ring, from the actual fight between the group she intercepts. And unlike in the original anime episode, I don't remember if there was actually a person or a witness there that saw Emma do the obviously the whole lone hero action thing, which I think is super sick. But this time they do. They added somebody here for the episode where they actually have somebody that sees everything that Emma does, which is really cool. And there's a whole news story about it, and Emma makes headlines, which is really cool. And obviously the ring is missing. But what I really like about Emma's episode is when they're establishing this in Emma's episode, the next thing we cut to is something that I will be talking about a little bit later when we talk about obviously the lore of the video. And that is Warren and the dude with the red hair on the side. Oh, look, I'm not the only one who enjoys coffee here. I was right. He does work for the WNA, and not long until the Academy's opening ceremony. Oh, this is cool. I was right. So he does work for the WNA, and they're doing this to recruit people to open the actual Academy. That's awesome. First bombshell that they drop in this episode, and it was specifically for Emma's part, is that dude, I was 100% right. I don't know his name, but he works for the WNA along with Warren, who is the girl, obviously, from Emma's original episode, and also in this episode that, helps Emma discover her true self, which is really sick. And the whole article is about, Emma obviously they understand, like Warren and the dude with the red hair is like, oh, you found a promising candidate, referring to Emma in the news story. So Warren sets out, which is the lady in the original episode, to help out and discover Emma, which is really nice. And the way they set up the relationship between Warren and Emma is really well established throughout the rest of the episode. And it's really cool to see how everything is set up with Emma, because as you guys know, we didn't get too much on Emma's backstory in the original anime episode. All that we know is that Emma was an orphan, and we actually get to see that in this in the retelling of the anime, which I think is really cool. We get Emma in the orphanage, and we get to see, you know, the orphanage and the nuns that, you know, Emma helps with, and it seems like Emma is one of the older kids in the orphanage, which I think is really neat. At the same time, as we cut to Emma's normal life, we also kind of get this awesome cut to Warren, and Warren discovers the ring, the hairpiece ring that Emma actually loses, and there is some really cool stuff that they do with the animation. Then we get some really cool stuff in more terms of like Emma's backstory, where we finally, you know, Warren kind of sets out to go find Emma, as I talked about earlier. But what's neat is that, you know, Emma, you know, she dances on the street corner. That's just her thing, because she feels happy when she does it, and she does explain that. And we even get to see the kid she rescued in, I think it was episode 2, again. She always coming to Emma's street performances, which is really cool. But we learned something here about Emma that we never really learned before. And that's the fact that Emma's super hearing ability, you know, is toned to a very interesting point, because while Emma, yes, indeed does have super hearing, the problem is that Emma has this bad case of catching on to the negative things that people are saying more than the positive things that people are saying. And that gives Emma stage fright, which is kind of like Emma's big thing to overcome in this episode. And the way they handle it go with Emma in the rest of the episode is really cool. And now, obviously, it ends up where Warren starts coming to Emma's performances, and Warren learns that Emma basically has a bunch of stage fright, which is, you know, it's cute. And while Warren tries to talk to Emma the first time, I can't even speak today. Emma just kind of runs away and, you know, shrugs off Warren, not doing anything too crazy with that, which, you know, is okay. Interesting. Nope, she's nervous, and like I get it. Other feelings that she doesn't have. During that whole sequence, Emma hears what we saw in the original anime episode, which was like, oh, we're having there's like this deal on the dock. I don't know what's going on with all these cool dudes in the suits having these shady deals on the dock, but you know, it just do be like that sometimes in anime. the Eagle City docks are just kind of, you know, they're just kind of there. They just kind of exist.
あの人また来てる。ストリートにいるタイプじゃないし。もう2時間も待ってるのに寂しい。
深夜0時ジャスト北ふと G18 でブツは用意できてるだろうな。
エマ？あ、なんでもない。ちょっといいかしら。あなたと話がしたくて。ミーに何か。あなたのダンスすごいわね。褒めてくれてありがとう。あ、そうそう。これ。どこでこれを？北の倉庫街よ。大丈夫、私は。さよなら。待って。
Obviously, that night, Emma shows up. Emma shows up after the docks after overhearing this conversation. And, you know, obviously being the vigilante that Emma is, she kind of goes in and, you know, kind of tries to interrupt these guys' plans. But they're prepared. They are prepared for vigilante Emma. And, of course, they brought some cronies. And what I like about this episode is there's just this awesome, sick scene where they might think, oh yeah, Emma's surrounded. Emma's got awesome ninja heritage. She'll be absolutely fine. No, this dude pulls out a gun. You don't actually see the gun, but you do hear the gunshot. And all of a sudden, Emma's just like terrified. But before the gun comes out, you get this scene. And this scene is just freaking awesome.
来ると思っていたぜ。俺たちも学習するのさ。
何人来てもミーは平気よ。
先やがってや。
Oh, ho, ho, ho! Oh my! A literal roundhouse kick! Ooh, they brought a gun.
形勢逆転ってわけだ。
Oh my, how the turntables. And not only do we get this incredible scene with the action where Emma literally just roundhouse kicks a dude in the face, which is just as clean animation. I'm just gonna say that little sequence there is super clean animation, and I cannot be disappointed. And there's some really cool stuff that, you know, that goes on with Emma here. But what we get, and now this is where the episode deviates a little bit, because as we know, in the original episode, Emma enters this dance competition at the behest of Warren. You know, Warren helps her out. Not in this episode. Because in the same scene that Emma is fighting the cronies, guess who shows up?
覚悟するんだな。
They have changed this episode up in such a sick way.
危ないところだったわね。言うわ。
助っ人か。何をしてる。
覚悟しなさい。
Tell you right now, if you got kicked in the face with heels by a ninja descendant like that, that's gonna leave a mark in the morning. And with the, you know, the combined efforts of Warren and Emma, they're able to, you know, basically get all these guys into trouble. As in the next scene, you get a bunch of cops showing up and they actually do everything. But this leads to, like, the main point of the episode with Warren talking about Emma. And what I really like about this is it establishes more of what Emma's character is, which is really awesome. And it's super neat to see the relationship between Emma and Warren kind of develop in this way, in the way they do the episode. And while it is brief, it is super nice. But basically, as Warren is looking for Emma to recruit Emma and loves her, you know, her dancing skills, as she already mentioned earlier, the big thing that Warren says here after they deal with the cronies, basically, on the dock, is Warren goes, I know a lot more about you than you think. I know you were something special the moment I saw you. And it's really neat to see that the WNA, if you really think about it, has all this data on so many of these kids, especially Emma, as even Warren says, and I quote, in the episode,
エマのこと調べさせてもらったの。遠くからこの町に来てご両親を失ってしまったことも辛かった。
man, WNA's got so much intel.
ミーは踊っていれば幸せだし。何もなくてもダンスをすればみんなで楽しくなれる。ミーはリズムに乗ってみんなと一つになれるんだ。
So not only do we get this awesome thing of realizing, wow, the WNA is a lot more powerful than we think, but we also get this awesome relationship with the WNA actually wanting to help the kids, which is really neat. They want to help them discover their true ninja abilities. And obviously, Warren, at the same time, also kind of wants attempts to help Emma achieve her dream. So, much like the original episode, Emma enters a dance competition, and much like the original episode as well, Emma enters the dance competition and wins, but not before, you know, having the issue with her super hearing, which Warren seems to understand as well. That's Emma's ninja power having, you know, super hearing, but not fully controlled. Emma has some control over her ninja power, whether she wants to hear the good or bad things, but mostly she hears the bad things. And when she gets on stage to do her dance performance, obviously she only hears the negative, so she gets that big thing of stage fright, that big thing of nervousness. And with the assistance of, you know, the kid that she rescued in earlier episodes, the kids from the orphanage, and of course Warren, Emma's able to overcome that. And I think it was just a really good retelling of, you know, Emma's episode and changing things up, and I just think it was really, really well done. I would say I think the way they did Emma's episode was great, but that's not the thing that blew my mind in this episode, like, at all. I think the thing that blew my mind in this episode was the relationship that was established between the Oniwabanshu, which is the big dude, the big evil WNA dude in the red suit, and the actual WNA itself, because in a scene in this episode, Genryusai, the dude with the red hair on the sides, who I don't think we know his name, and the big boss, the big dude in the red suit, they all gather for a WNA meeting to talk about the fact that they have managed to perfect the ninja gum.
すでに報告した通り、我々は忍者ガムを完成させた。そこで今回入学するアカデミーの生徒諸君に配布しようと考えているのだが。賛成です。生徒の能力向上に極めて効果があると考えられます。遺憾ながら私は反対です。開発間もない。
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
配布するというのはどうも。私たちはあくまで生徒の安全を優先するべきではありませんか。それもそうだ。
So they do all know each other at some.
ですが総長、忍者ガムの安全性は確認済みです。WNA の未来のために必要なことだと私は思いますが。
That's Genryusai. Oh, dude. So they all know each other, but the Oniwabanshu are like, they're working behind everybody's back. I did not think in any way that they were related. Or in relation with each other, and they worked together in any way. And that is mind-blowing. Now, it's not only just that's mind-blowing, because in this whole scene, it seems like the dude in the red coat knows the side effects of the ninja gum, but what he's trying to do is he's trying to push the ninja gum forward for the kids in the WNA, which, you know, makes sense, because that's what the ninja gum does, and it unlocks the latent abilities of the ninja kids. But, remember, the big dude in the red suit, he knows about the side effects. He knows that Burton and Berecca are kids. Ron knows that Burton and Berecca are kids. And the way he tries to push this makes me think that the Oniwabanshu, even though they technically seem like they are associates to the actual WNA, as again, the dude with the red hair on the sides and the dude that Warren works for, Warren works for this dude, and then Genryusai, who we already know works for the WNA, the fact that they're cohorts in some way is just, it's ridiculous to me, because I did not think it was going to go that route, but it also seems that the members of the Oniwabanshu are also still going to be working kind of in the shadows behind the WNA's back, unbeknownst to the WNA currently. And that's where I think we're going to get some interesting concepts with Ron and Jane, who not only do we get to see in this episode, but my theory was confirmed that they work for the dude in the big dude in the red suit.
私を狙って飛んできました。あなたの命令ではないのですか？なぜ私が君を？失礼します。
I was also right!
どうしたの？深刻な顔しちゃって。あの教会
I'm double right in this episode. That's awesome.
ちょっとね。
They do work for the same evil organization.
何でもいいが、深入りは避けろ。
あなたもね。
I love it. I love it. I love it. Everything that I said is going to happen is happening right now, and I'm not going to go on any crazy assumptions right now, but everything I said that's going to happen has happened so far. And this makes me think, because the Oniwabanshu is working behind the WNA's back, at some point, Jane and Ron are going to have to go against the Oniwabanshu, you know, the ones they work for. Because, as you remember, Jane hacked into the WNA database, and Ron already has a hit out for him from the Oniwabanshu. And we even get a scene with Ron talking to the big boss of the Oniwabanshu, or the Oniwabanshu, about, hey, the Oniwabanshu threw a ninja star at me. I don't know if it was intentional or not. So Ron still doesn't know that there's an actual, like, hit out for him, which is just such an interesting concept. And it makes me think that at some point we're going to get all the adult kids, the adult ninja kids, when they turn into adult ninja kids, teaming up to stop the Oniwabanshu, who is going to be working behind the shadows, which is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see how they do it. And I definitely think Ron and Jane are going to be more anti-heroes than actual heroes like Burton and Berecca, who also, by the way, do get to make an appearance in this episode. And I think it's awesome to see how they, you know, make an appearance in this episode as, once again, the Oniwabanshu, who are going to be, or the Oniwabanshu, who are literally going to be easily the villains of the story. Maybe we're going to get the Space and Shadow Ninja kind of involved with them as well. I'd like to see if that actually comes true. I might not, but we'll see. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how it is, because the Oniwabanshu with Burton and Berecca, first off, the scene with Burton and Berecca, just to put on a side note, they intentionally drew them off model and squished, which is just, it's so funny. It's so good for a comedic bit before the tension building scene, and you just gotta watch it. Meanwhile, it's so memey. That's intentionally memey the way they drew him here, and I love that. That's not off model. That's an intentional design choice.
WNA で何か起きてる。だから、
Oniwabanshu。
めっちゃしつこい。
Berecca、忍者ガム。
ないわよ。
全部噛んじゃったの？
ひょっとしてバートンも？
Uh-oh. So yeah, they get this really funny scene, and before the Oniwabanshu attacks them, and then it's established that Burton and Berecca only had so many prototypes in the Ninja Gum, and when the Oniwabanshu attacks them, in this episode specifically, they kind of just flee. We don't get to see what happens to them. We do get to see at the end of the episode that they did manage to evade capture, but it's the fact that they don't have any more prototypes in the Ninja Gum, so they can't awaken their innate shinobi abilities, which kind of also adds to my theory that what the older you get without proper ninja training, from, you know, Lucy's episode that I talked about, that you kind of lose a lot of your inherited abilities as a ninja without proper training, which is where the WNA Academy comes in. And what I like about this is how they ended off the episode. As they end off Emma's portion of the episode, they send Emma to the WNA Academy. We get a scene with Kappei and Gumchi, and unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get too much on, you know, an actual Kappei episode like we did in the original animated series. I think that was more to establish Kappei's actual character, but you get Kappei sent out to the Academy. You get Van watching over his dad get sent out to the Academy. Burton and Berecca are going to sneak in to the Academy, to the new Academy semester, by the way, because I do mention earlier in the episode that the Academy is, like, reopening for, like, quote-unquote new students, which makes me think it runs like an actual school, so there's, like, time frames.
テンション上がる。よかった。エマ。あなたを WNA のアカデミーに招待します。OK してくれる？もちろん。ってアカデミーって何？ あなたの仲間が大勢集まって忍術を学ぶ学校よ。
ミーに仲間？こんな風に逃げ回ってても先がないよ。
だからどうしろって？
いっそのことアカデミーに潜り込むっていうのは？もうすぐ入学式だったはずだし、新入生に紛れ込んじゃうの。Oniwabanshuもまさか私たちがアカデミーに
Look at Berecca's smug face, dude!
東大元クラスってやつか。
アカデミー？
そこで学ぶのじゃ、さらなる忍術を。
ガムッチガムッチ。
ガムッチと共に旅立つがよい。
はい。
So we're not getting an episode mainly focused around Cafe?
無茶はしないって約束してバン。分かってる。
Look at her. This guy interests me so much, though. I have no words! I have no words! What better way to hide than his kids in the academy? And the only people who know about it are the Oniwabanshu and then, obviously, Ron. Which makes me think the Oniwabanshu with their ninja gum. And they know about the side effects of the ninja gum. They were pushing its development to go through saying, oh, there's no side effects, when they very well know that Burton and Berecca turned into kids. And Ron knows they turned into kids. So it makes me think the Oniwabanshu are going to send agents from their organization to the WNA at some point to track down Burton and Berecca and, of course, Ron and Jane when it gets to that point. Or that's going to depend on how Ron and Jane actually get into the WNA Academy. But it seems like what they've established for this episode is a lot of relations, a lot of connections, and that seems like it's going to go even further with the next episode because all the characters that we've seen so far, with the exception of Ron and Jane, in the next episode are going to meet up for the first time ever in the WNA Academy. So we get to see how all the characters, for the first time outside of Ninjala, actually interact with each other, because we never got that in the original animated series, and that's awesome to me. I really like the fact that they're doing that. I think it's awesome, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see where it goes. I think the next episode is going to be sick. I think we're going to get in more insane lore reveals, and honestly, this episode was just perfect for me. It was really good, but you know, establishing the WNA Council with the Oniwabanshu being involved, and the fact that all the characters are going to meet Ninjala, and the way they set up Emma's episode, it's just gung ho. Take my money. Just take my money, please. Just do it. But yeah, man. I mean, I know this video felt fast for a lot of you guys, but this was an episode. I mean, this was such a good episode, and we only have so much more to come. But I'd like to hear what you guys thought of the episode as well. Of course, obviously, there are times where, you know, some people don't like the episodes as much as other people. But I really enjoyed this episode, and I want to hear your thoughts and comments on what you think of this episode. And maybe even some of the lore coming down the line, which it's only going to be built more and more, as I think we have like 7 episodes to go. I think they're doing 12 Ninjala anime episodes. So we still have a long way to go if that's the case, and a lot of lore to still be discovered. So, you know, obviously, I hope you guys are enjoying the ride as much as I am. And just, you know, despite me making a reply to my friend Gigi's video about Ninjala and why I'm, you know, passionate about Ninjala, but also the problems of Ninjala, the reason I'm here is to have fun. The reason I'm here is to have fun, and, you know, the Ninjala anime allows me to do stuff like that. So, thank you all, you know, for sticking with me and watching. But again, you know, we got a long way to go. So, of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. You guys already know how we roll around here with that. I hope you guys are looking forward to the more of the Ninjala anime episodes, because I am absolutely excited and ecstatic for this. But we really won't get that until next week. So until then, this is CIJ Man 777 signing off. Stay safe, everybody.